everyone. We're back at the desk here. We're tying today a black zebra midge. Now it's a zebra midge because of the striping that it will be on there. And as the name implies, this is a little black fly. I'm tying this on a size 14 Umpqua U202 curved hook. Now this particular hook has a barb on it. I'm going to pinch that barb down just like that. Now, once I put the bead on, and a little bit about beads while I've got them out, tying beads have a small hole on one side and a larger hole on the other. You want to put the small hole so that it goes over the point first. That's the hole that will go up against the hook eye right here. Now, you can see that I put my hook in the vise. I like to do that because it holds it. However you get the bead on there, there's a lot of different ways to do it. But this is the way I like to do it. It kind of holds everything in place. And then you position your hook in the vise so that the bead is pointing down a little bit. So gravity will hold that bead out of your way while you're tying. For this particular fly, I'm using a shear, and this is, make sure I didn't knock that out of focus there. See if I can get that a little bit closer for you and make that a little bit clearer. There we go. That's better. Now I'm using a shear thread. You can use any good black thread. But I like to use the shear because the way it's twisted, when you untwist your thread by spinning the bobbin counterclockwise, it will really flatten out. Now, I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but that is good and flat. And this is a fine thread. It's a polyester, so it has a moderate amount of stretch to it, but it's a really good, tough thread. Now I've come part way down. I'm going to go back up, and I'm building a bit of a thread dam here to kind of hold that bead in place. Now, my next material, I'm using a little Semperfli 2mm wire, and I'm going to snip out a couple of inches of this. Now, a little trick here is we're going to take the wire and we're going to slip it right underneath that wide end of that bead. Just like that. And then catch that wire right up under that bead with your thread. Now you can bring your thread all the way down. We're going to bring this thread all the way down. Nice touching wraps. And you'll notice that I'm keeping the wire on the side of the hook. That seems to give it a much better profile. There we go. I'm going to bring this all the way down. Now, because this is a midge pattern, we typically take these around and down the bend of the hook almost to the halfway point. Kind of right in there is where I like to tie mine. And what that does is that gives that hook the look of a swimming midge on the bottom of the water, down at the bottom of the stream side. Now, I'm going to bring my thread all the way back up and give my bobbin a good little counterclockwise spin. And why do you spin it? It's the twist of the thread. Every time you go around your thread one time, that adds a quarter turn to the twist of that thread. So that means about every 8-10 turns, you need to let it flatten out again. You just let your bobbin dangle it'll naturally unspin and it gets that twist out. And what we're doing that for is so that we can lay down a nice even base of thread. We want this to be fairly smooth because there's nothing else going on. This is commonly referred to as a thread body fly, meaning all the color of the body of the bug is going to be made out of thread. So we're going to come back. I've let it unspin some more. We're going to come all the way back up. Nice touching wraps. We want those wraps to be right beside each other so that we build out a nice body. Now the next step is really, really cool. We're going to come down 3/4 of the way of the body of this bug. I'm going to untwist it. And then come back all the way up to the bead. I'm going to come untwist it again. And I'm going to come halfway down. Now I'm going to come back up again. Untwist it again. And then I'm going to come 1/4 of the way down. Then I'm going to go back up to the bead. Now if you look at it, we have built a taper smaller here at the bend of the hook to wider up here at the bead. And if you look at a midge that's just came out of the water, that's kind of what they're shaped like. Now, I want this body to stay thin like this. I want a good thin body, but I'm going to come in here and I'm going to put a few extra wraps up here at the bead of the hook. And you'll see why in just a minute. Now I'm going to take my thread or my wire and I'm going to start doing nice open loops all the way around. We're going to spiral that up, and whenever you do this, neatness counts. I see a lot of guys where those spacings get off, and you want to keep those spaces about as even as you can all the way up. When you get up to the bead of the hook, trap your wire in your thread, bring your thread up and over the bead, then move your wire and put some thread wraps in front of the wire, maybe another 1 or 2 behind the wire. That enables you to just wiggle that wire. You can worry it off, helicopter it, whatever you want to call that little move there. We're going to press that little wire tag in, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to wrap some more of that thread right here. And what that's doing, you can see it's kind of filling that in a little bit. That's called a collar. We want that collar on there. That helps give it the look of the head of that bug. It's not about making it smooth as much as it is imitating what that bug looks like. If you've ever been with a guide who pumps the stomach of a fish after they catch it and he holds them in their hand, it's going to look like one of these. So I've done a little 3-turn whip finish. I'm going to do that one more time just to make sure that I've got it down good and tight, because fish will tear this up. Most of the large trout I've ever caught has been on a midge just like this. Now you can tie these in black, red, olive, blue, purple. You can tie them in yellow, chartreuse. There's limitless possibilities. This becomes the fly on which most nymphs are based. Now, because I want this fly to be durable, I want it to be able to have a nice shiny look to it. I'm going to come in with a little varnish or head cement, and I'm going to put a nice even coat. And I'm just going to spin this up here so I can get some on the underside. Get that on there nice and even. And you can see that taper of that thread right there. And if you look at a picture of a macroinvertebrate, they've got that head look to them where it's a nice big head with a skinny body that's got a lot of segmentation to it. And there you go. That is the black zebra midge. I hope you like it. It's a good, quick, easy fly to tie. If you're doing drive dropper, if you're doing Euro nymphing, you should have one of these on your line. That's all for now. We'll talk to you later, and we're keeping it attainable.